This is the Zach Ansbury Show.
Welcome. Today's podcast clip comes from an interview with Simona Bronzi from RAA.
It's very good.
Yeah. So how big is how big's RAA in terms of employees? Whether you know or not, I'm not sure.
There's over 1,000,
that's
and it
huge.
keeps growing. We've outgrown our head office at Marlin, so it's good that people are sort of working from home and in the building, because we honestly just ran out of space. But yeah, my actual team is just me and my manager. And then we've got a wider team, and honestly, I'd have to count, probably my wider team's probably about 20 people. There's a couple on maternity leave at any given time. It just seems to be a revolving door. There's people going on leave and coming back. And then we've sort of got like a wider membership marketing team as well, which are technically in a separate department, but we do a lot of work together, and that's probably another 10 people. And then we've got like the graphic design team and the web team, and everyone's sort of, they're huge teams. But yeah, I guess the actual marketing team is probably like 20 to 30 people.
Okay.
And then we work quite closely with our agency as well.
Yeah. So is your manager, what's their title?
So she's the marketing manager, and she works 4 days a week. And yeah, I'm full-time, and we've got, I can't even remember how many products we have, because we always get new ones in, but I think we're working on about 7 at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
And because I grew up in South Australia, and it sounds like you did as well before you moved to Queensland.
Yeah.
And to me, South Australia and RAA are like almost very synonymous, because it is purely a South Australian thing, isn't it? Like there's a different version of that in Victoria. And I didn't even realize that until we had a presenter at the Institute who worked for them. What is the Victorian version called?
RACV.
Yeah, that's it. They came and they gave a presentation about the campaign that they were working on over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there for 5 or 10 minutes being like, I don't get this. And then they're like, they must have seen everyone else in the room didn't get it as well. And they're like, we're basically the Victorian RAA. Boom, light bulb.
Yeah.
So growing up here, I'm just thinking RAA and then roadside assistance. So my car, my flat battery, I can't tell you the amount of times RAA has changed my flat battery for me. Even things like, flat tires or whatever, they've helped me out a bunch. I am quite a fan, because I've used them quite a lot. And my dad's been a member for like 30 or 40 years or something crazy like that. He's 77, so that makes it a little bit easier. But over my lifetime, I've seen the absolute growth of it to, there's physical stores where you sell actual products within them, and a lot of them are like car related or travel related. But then you have insurance, and it's not just insurance related to cars, it's insurance related to travel, it's insurance related to housing as well. Mm-hmm. You have, what other stuff are you selling at the moment? It's exploded. And I think that's the strength of the brand, where you can translate that to another category, and that people are like, this is a South Australian brand. I have mental associations with it, and it makes sense that they're offering this as well. Yeah, you probably know it slightly a little bit better than me.
So when I started at RAA, they were in the beginning stages of rebranding, and they launched that rebrand in 2019. And with that rebrand came a whole new strategy for RAA as well, and that strategy has been amazing to be part of. So all of our products and services fit into motor, home or travel. So motor is obviously very established. We've got road service and car insurance and driving lessons and vehicle inspections and all that jazz. Is probably things that I'm forgetting because I haven't worked on that portfolio, but everyone sort of knows that side of it. Travel is the other one that they've got, and obviously that took a bit of a backseat with COVID, but before COVID hit, that was absolutely booming, and they're still doing really well with like South Australian travel. They've never been busier for that, so that's really good. And then home is sort of the space that people are not as familiar with, and a lot of the products that I work on sort of fall into that home category. So a few of them, at the moment, we've got Trade Assist, which is basically connecting you with a tradie that we've sort of vetted and made sure that they're trustworthy. So we've got a platform that we can, set you up with a tradie.
Wow, I had no idea that worked. Wow,
yep.
Okay, that's cool.
So if you need a tradie.
We always need tradies.
Yeah.
I need a plumber soon, actually.
Well, you know where to find them. And our huge one at the moment is solar and battery storage for houses.
Okay.
So we launched that a year ago, and it's just really taken off. So that's probably the biggest thing that I'm working on at the moment. What else we have? I've honestly got to think about it.
Yeah, so that's like Tesla batteries, or a different version of a home storage battery?
We don't sell Tesla, but there are other ones. I couldn't name all of the products off by heart because there are quite a few of them. But yeah, it basically stores the energy from your solar panels so you can use it later on. Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Which is really cool.
Because it's becoming more economical to put solar panels on your house. I know someone recently who's just installed and this is quite a large system. It's a 16.9 kilowatt system. Mm-hmm. And so their electricity bill was $1,200 to $1,300 a quarter, which I thought was, they're a family. Mine's nowhere near that. And so it just blew my mind that they spent that much money on electricity.
Yeah.
But this solar system will pay off itself they're spending about 10 grand on it. In about, 2.5 years, it's going to pay for itself. And it's got a 25-year warranty. So it just goes to show, my dad first put a solar system on his house 15 years ago, and it was going to take 9 years to pay itself off. And now it's down to about 2.5 years. So the technology is getting better, the price is coming down. And I think that's the way in which renewable energies will eventually become more prevalent, which we're seeing at the moment is via that sort of stuff. Sure. So you're a part of the solar panel as well, or just the batteries?
Yeah, panels and batteries.
Okay. Panels and batteries. So that's part of the home.
Yeah, so they're the sort of couple of products that we're working on in the home space at the moment. And then there's a lot of focus around future mobility. So what does the next 10 years look like in terms of car ownership and how we move around the city? I think it's been really interesting seeing the impact that COVID's had on sharing transport options. A lot of people aren't catching public transport because they're worried about being around people, or the e-scooters, they're picking up popularity now, but for a bit there people were worried about germs and things like that. So I think before COVID happened, we were sort of ramping up to explore these future mobility scenarios, and then sort of paused for a little bit, but now we're sort of opening back up. So we're partnered with Beam e-scooters. We did a fringe partnership with them, and just doing a lot of safety education around e-scooters. We have got a car sharing platform, which you can just go pick up a car and use it for an hour or a day, and then drop it back. So that's really cool. You can either go get a ute or something to move some furniture, or just need it for a day trip. We've got car subscription, which is a bit more long term, so you can have a car for a few months and it includes everything, so you don't have to worry about your rental and your insurance and all the maintenance and stuff. It's all included. So it's just about testing these products to see whether they fit our members' needs and sort of trying to predict their future needs, because if we end up being more densely populated, you can't get parks in the city as it is. How does that look? Are people going to own cars? We don't know that, but it's about exploring what the future might look like.
Yeah, is the future of some of the living almost like a Bowden suburb, where it's mostly high-rise apartments with cafes and everything, and street level parking is far in between. Where it's not like your traditional older suburb like a St. Peter's, where the streets are 30 meters wide and there's just a lot of land. There's a lot of land there. It'd be interesting to see what actually happens. I think short term we're seeing people moving away from apartments and away from capital cities towards regional areas. And I suppose for RAA that's how does that affect our insurance in terms of the number of kilometers people are driving, likeliness of getting into accidents and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I have noticed a lot of buses driving around with no one in them. And apparently the used car market's just insane at the moment. And even
I don't think they can get new cars in from overseas. I think the dealerships are really struggling to get any cars.
Yeah. So the RAA approved mechanics, they would be having a field day with, getting the secondhand cars up to scratch, especially the older ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. So how does the using a car for an hour work? Because I don't have a ute. I have a little Volkswagen Polo. And if I ever need to move furniture, I have to ring up someone who has one. And then my brother-in-law who had one has now sold it. So the next time I need to move, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, so the brand that we partner with is Flexicar, and you download the app, open it, and it shows you where the car's located, and you can do it all through your app.
How do I spell this?
Flexicar. So it's
Flexicar.
Lexicar.
Flexicar. And you can choose the type of vehicle to be like, all right, there's a ute and it's 3.2 Ks away from you. And how do I get into it?
You unlock it with the app.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I sound like an old man right now, don't I? It's like, mate, it's all on your phone. Who would have thought?
Yeah. No, it's very cool. I think the only other thing like it in the market in South Australia was GoGet, and they've recently exited the market. So this is sort of the replacement for that, if you've heard of that. Yeah,
I think one of the guys that I work with, when he was living in the city and he didn't need a car, he now lives in Grange, so a car's a must for him. He was using that service quite a bit.
Yeah.
And that was really ahead of the time that we thought about shared transport in that sense. That's for sure.
Hey guys, it's Zach Ainsbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zach Ainsbury. That is ZACANESBURY for my take on the marketing issues of the day.